My first encounter with David was in 1970 through a letter to the editor that appeared in the editorial page of this Daily Mirror in Manila. I was intrigued by this letter. I imagined a jungle in New Guinea and an Australian man claiming that the place had a shortage of women. In equal jest, I wrote to this stranger and drew a parallel with Manila's shortage of rice. And so began a friendship exploring diverse interests until we met in person in 1971 in Manila, where he stayed for a few months and proposed marriage. I declined. I felt that I was too young and would like to have more exposure of life independently. I was a young idealistic journalist and a political activist, wrestling with questions about the roots of social turbulence in our country, the Philippines. We parted as friends and from then simply exchanged occasional postcards. In September 1972, martial law was declared. A few months later, David sent a reply-paid telegram to the University of the Philippines, where I worked as a research officer with the Social Science Research Council. The gist of the telegram was, why don't you visit New Guinea and see for yourself what life is like here? You can stay with my parliamentarian friend, an Englishman married to an Asian woman. My reply was, thank you, but no one can leave the country. Martial law had been declared. There is a travel ban. When he received my reply, David was doing a course in the highlands of New Guinea, Mount Hagen, associated with his work in malaria control within the public health department. Concerned for my safety, he deserted his course and immediately flew to Manila and again proposed marriage. This time I said yes. And so began an eventful 41 years of marriage that produced two sons. You've heard them, Andre and David, and a granddaughter, Hala Sofia. David's last 10 years of public service in Papua New Guinea was spent in Angoran, a remote place in the city which virtually was David's second home. The day we left Angoran was for good, I was astonished. The whole airstrip was covered with Papua New Guineans, and their huge presence was a witness to the respect and love they had for David. I got presents too, of shell bags and balloon woven bags. We moved to Thalassia, West New Britain, and lastly to Port Moresby before we left Papua New Guinea for good. David's spirit never really left PNG. Upon his retirement as a teacher librarian, his focus returned to PNG through his blog. He became a professional blogger. The centerpiece of his writing was mostly about Papua New Guinea. He also wrote two books, which were already mentioned, Civic Blue, Long Peramuruk, and a tribute to Jim Wall, his father. In hindsight, I feel that he was attending to unfinished business. Till the end, he remained a seeker of questions dear to him, formed by his Catholic tradition and his life experience. He wore no guises. He was natural and spontaneous to hurt. He also sometimes misinterpreted by people from other cultures. He was compassionate and generous to a fault. His pursuit of uprightness and justice overwhelmed any personal disadvantage that might rebound to him. And this he simply endured. For me and my sons, his love was unquestionable. He was very supportive of me and my work and interest in Aboriginal and Filipino stories and cultures. I will miss him really. At the end of the service, I would like to welcome you to share some refreshments down at the crib and some more stories and memories of David, celebrate his life, and there will be a slideshow that represents his life's journey. And thank you all for coming.